Alrighty, we just got done with our bathroom elevation, and I just made a quick little comment about the differences between the 2017 and the 2018 version of AutoCAD. And that doesn't matter whether it's the PC version or the Mac version. The 2018 version, 2018 version of AutoCAD on the Mac, assuming they're still going to be making it, is probably going to have the same difference with file formats. 2018 can open a 2017 file, but the reverse won't happen, and we're still dealing with different interfaces. But we're not talking about that right now. We're talking about our interior elevations on our kitchen elevations. This is AutoCAD 2017. I'm going to close him out real quick because I don't need him right now. Dun, 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 dun. Okay. I'm back on line weight number 1. I'm going to use my ray command. These are the ends of my countertop, and this is the end of my range. How big do I have this drawn? Okay, that's 30 inches across. And each one of these that's 1'9", and that's 1'9". Okay, that'll work. But 1'9" and 1'9" is 1'9" is 3 inches away from 2 feet, and multiply that by 2, and that's 6 inches. And this little distance right here is 5 inches. So that's the reason why that's I made it 1'9". Countertops, or not countertops, but cabinets typically come in 3-inch increments. Okay. A line, hover over that intersection to get my tracking point, go up 36 inches and across to here. I'm going to offset 18 to go up. That's the upper cabinets here. Now a cooktop is going to go here, so we need a little more room. So I'm going to go up another 6 inches, and that's going to be my line for my upper cabinets like that. Trim those off, and trim that out, and trim that out. Okay. Now, my range is going to go here, and my refrigerator is going to go here. Fortunately, I have some blocks for that. Let's look at appliances. I have, oh yes, there's this one. I'm going to start with my refrigerator. Move him in here and just pop him in, just like that. Now this is a big, giant commercial type, like a Sub-Zero type refrigerator, and you can see how everything is just crammed right together. It is actually 3 feet wide and 7 feet tall. I'm going to modify this ever so slightly. I'm going to scale this block. I'm going to use the midpoint down here at the bottom, and I'm going to scale it to 0.95. I want to shrink it in just a hair. And the only reason is if you look at what the size of some of these actual appliances, they are meant to fit inside those dimensions. So a refrigerator that says it's 3 feet wide is actually like 2'11½". It gives you a little wiggle room so you can slide that thing in and out of there. I also want to be able to actually see behind it, because there's the base that's going to go there, and then there's an electrical outlet that this is going to plug into. So I'm going to highlight this object, and instead of making it hidden, I'm going to put it on the shade layer. I want it gray. I want it to fade into the background. I want to imply to the contractor, hey, there's a refrigerator that's going to go here, but I'm going to show you the other stuff. It's like I'm ghosting this in, and I'm going to show you the stuff through it that's happening behind it. And then I've got my range. Now my range, oops, wrong window. My range, this is a big, gigantic Sub-Zero commercial range. It's absolutely huge. This thing is 4 feet wide. This is some serious high-end residential type appliances. You will not find this in an apartment, I can almost guarantee you, unless we're talking like apartments in Uptown, and they're in the high-rise buildings, and they're not apartments, but they're condos, and they're $2 million a piece. Those are the kind of places you will find this exact type of range. But I'm going to use this to create the range that's actually going to be used here. So I'm going to highlight the block, and I'm going to explode it into all of its bits and pieces parts. And you can see how I've got a whole bunch of different things happening here. Yeah, you know what? I'm gonna undo that. I'm gonna undo that explode. But I'm still gonna show this. I'm gonna put that on a layer that I know I just need to delete, like the viewport layer. Make it pink so I can draw on top of it. And that's all I'm gonna do is I'm gonna draw stuff on top of it. This is one of those cases where it just, for me personally, drawing things from scratch, drawing on top of something else, for me personally, it just works faster than trying to modify other things. So move him over, but then bring him back. Bring him back a half an inch. And let's see. Here I go. I'll do a rectangle from there across. Let's just bring it all the way down to there. Take my rectangle, pull that edge in 0.25. Take that edge, pull it in until it intersects. I'm going to go ahead and have my line run all the way across the top like that. I want my bottom edge to come up 4 inches so it'll match the kick plate that I'm going to put in the cabinets over here. I am going to keep that line and go all the way across. Draw a rectangle, tracking point at that corner, tracking point at that corner. Those tracking points will intersect. Same kind of thing, tracking point, intersection of those tracking points. Fill it with a radius of 1, applying it to a polyline, so P, select, there we go. And I know those radius points are different, and that's fine. I'm going to have to move. You know what, I'll do that here in a second. Draw a line. I don't think I need to go up, what is that? Oh yeah, 9 inches. I don't need to go up that high. So I'm going to go up 6 inches, zoom in, and it's going to come across to here. Okay, and I'm only going to make my burners half as tall. I made this block many, many years ago. I have got the basics for my range in this drawing. I'm going to highlight the block, and I'm going to delete the block, and now I'm going to modify all these little bits and pieces left over. I'm going to make the window in here a little bit bigger. Now I could use offset for this, but if I used offset, I would also increase the radius of the edge of the window. Okay. Yeah, good enough. Good enough. And my oven looks considerably different. Considerably different. You know what? That's what I'll do. My oven. Let me bring that back. I've got one of those double ovens. Absolutely love it. My wife absolutely loves our oven. Go here, do that, mirror to there, move him so about 3 inches to there, and a rectangle, that. Okay, radius 1 inch, polyline. That's pretty close. And my proportions are a little different because my oven and cooktop is 36 inches across, so it doesn't quite look right yet. But you know what? I'm gonna leave it like that. That's close enough. This guy, PE for polyline edit selected. Do I want to turn a polyline? Yes. J for join because I want to make all those. I want to make that one element. I'm going to move it to the midpoint there, and then move it 2 inches that way. Then I'm going to mirror it. And that's pretty close. Let's move them another inch apart in each direction. At this point, I am totally winging it. I'm completely making this up as I go along. And I'm basing all of this on the fact that I've just done years and years and years of AutoCAD drafting, and I kind of have an idea of what's going on. If you guys out there in the real world, you can go to a website like Sears, and you can look at a range that's 36 inches wide, and you can actually find the technical sheet for it and get its measurements and what it looks like, and you can go to town and draw it up however you want to. That's what I'm doing, and I think it looks fine right now, and I'm done with that. So make my current layer the red layer again, and I'm going to put my countertops on. It's 1.5. That's it. 1.5 inches down from the top, and as a reminder, the countertop is at 36 inches. I want some drawers in my kitchen, so that's another 6 inches down. My toe kick along the bottom is 4 inches. It happens to line up with that. So I am just going to draw a line, hover to get my tracking up 4, over to there. This is 1'9". You can get a single panel door swing. You can get them at 1'9". You can get them at 2 feet, but beyond that, you really need to split them into 2 different doors. I'm going to use one door right now, and I'm going to need to find the midpoint between this line and this line. So I'm going to draw a temporary line, that, and another one here, because I want my polyline like that. And I can delete that, highlight that line, come here, change it to the pattern layer, change this to hidden 2, and then mirror it right across there. Whoops, and I forgot to mirror the toe kick. There we go. There we go. Okay, now across the top. This is 30 inches. I want to make that a double door going across the top. And because I can use the middle of this line as a tracking line, I'm going to hover over the midpoint and drag across and close, pull back, MA for match properties. There's my source. There's my new one. Polyline. There we go. Okay. That is that's a front view. Now I'm going to show you something that's a little different. Some of you may have a condition that does this, and I'm going to need you guys to put on your thinking hats, your thinking caps. Let us imagine, let's go into my floor plan here. Let us imagine that the countertop extends across here and then turns the corner. And it would turn the corner and then turn the corner again. So it's for these of you guys who have a U-shaped kitchen, so that there is no refrigerator here. And if we've already kind of determined that a typical countertop is 2 feet deep, and then we go 3/4 of an inch past that for the countertop. So this is your cabinet, that's your countertop, and I'm going to extend all this out, extend my counter all the way across. Actually, that's not right. Since we're cutting through this information, it could be green. We could make this green if we wanted to. However, I am going to make this yellow because we're cutting through, but it's not as important as the hard line of the wall. Go back 2 inches for your toe kick, just like that. Delete these lines. Okay. Now, so what do we do with this little corner, this little bit right here? Well, we actually need to draw a line. Now, this is, again, any one of you guys that has either an L-shaped or a U-shaped kitchen. We need a little line right here, a little break. because they're going to put a tiny little, there's a corner cabinet, there's a piece that goes in here that takes care of that. And then for this little piece, whatever piece this size happens to be, we'll do that. There we go. And then I'm going to trim that little bottom piece off. There we go. Just like that. And we're going to do something similar for an upper cabinet. So let's assume that your upper cabinets are also going to turn the corner. So I'm going to extend this all the way across like that. I'm going to offset the upper cabinet 12 inches. And I'm just going to use my fillet command to close that out. I forgot to set my radius to 0. Fillet command. I left an arc behind there, so I'm going to erase that. And I'm going to draw a line from here across to here. Again, this is like the most basic way to show a cabinet. There's actually more detail that goes into this. I'm going to leave it like this for now. And this is where things kind of get weird. They don't quite follow the same rules. Whatever that distance is. Now remember one of the things that I mentioned a minute ago. Cabinets want to be a 3-inch increment along here. I didn't even look and see what this this cabinet length is. I forgot to trim that out because the cabinet, the countertop is going to be continuous as it turns this corner. I need to know what that distance is. So back to measure from here to here, and it's 11 1/4 inch. So this is one of those times where you need to stretch all of this 3/4 of an inch that way, so that this tiny little piece of cabinet from here to here is a nice even 3-inch dimension, which means that this inside corner here is also going to be a nice even 3-inch dimension. It's going to be 12 inches, because if I offset this 12 inches, there's that same 3/4 inch gap, and we need that on a upper cabinet as much as we need it on a bottom cabinet. And we can turn this into a set of double doors. Now look at, we've got 2 1-foot sections, and we have this one big, like was it a 1'9" section coming across here? Yeah, 1'9". It's a little unusual, and sometimes it happens that way. Or we can delete that piece, and we have a 2-foot section right next to a 1'9" section. It's a little unorthodox, but not a lot. So that's what happens when you have a cabinet turn a corner. So there you go. That would be the difference if I've got a shotgun style kitchen versus if I have a U-shaped or an L-shaped kitchen. That's the only little thing that I do that's different. Everything else is going to stay the same. So I'm going to erase these lines that I'm going to continue on right over here. So this is going to be, you can see that's my dishwasher, there's my sink, and here is, this is going to be leftover stuff. Now, for those of you with the dishwasher, especially those of you who have a dishwasher at the end of your counter, this is kind of a big deal. When you draw the ray for your dishwasher, you need to put 1.5 inches. You need 1.5 inch panel to hold up the end of your counter, which might mean that this changes ever so slightly. It's not really a huge thing, but it's big enough. So we're going to go 24 inches. So you can see how this isn't showing up quite right. What I'm going to do is I'm going to right click on my reference. I'm going to open my XREF. Come back to my model space so I can see things on a nice pretty black screen. I'm going to move these 1.5 inches that way. I'm going to add, now I'm going to show that little 1.5 inch board right there. That's at 1.5 inches at the end that I was showing you. And a big kitchen counter like this is almost always going to go inside a 3-foot wide cabinet. So I'm going to, and this is just for my own personal, to help me line things up. There we go. And I'm going to offset that 18 inches in both directions. And that tells me that down here at the end, I have an even 3 foot. That's happy. And what about this? Let's see, that's only 1 foot 10 and a half, or that's only 10 and a half. So there's my additional, that's where that 1.5 inch went. So I'm going to use my stretch command, grab a hold of this, and I'm going to move it I'm going to stretch it down 1.5 so that my cabinet here, that's 12 inches. Now, if the bottom is 12 and this top one is 3, I want to move this 12 inches that way so that it's centered. It won't be centered from the outside out here, but it's centered from what I can do inside for usability. So it's actually, and you can see it helps balance out that work triangle a little bit. So you're not centered over on one side. Theoretically, you could have one person finding ingredients, one person at the kitchen sink, and another person right here cooking, and another person loading the dishwasher. I don't think you're actually going to do it that way, but it's something that could be done. Okay. Boy, I'm talking a lot, aren't I? Okay, zoom extents. Click there, close it. Yes, I want to save it. Do you want to save it? Do I want to reload the changes? Yes. Now you can see how everything's moved around and how this changes. This is the back and forth nature of design, especially when you start getting into elevations and how things are placed in elevation. So there's that. I'm going to create one more array right here. That is the extension of that tall wall. Now I'm going to use a couple arrays. I'm going to use one there, and here, and here, and here. There we go. Okay, there's that. All the way across, all the way like that, all the way like that. Through here, because this is the opening for my dishwasher. The toe kick is continuous across the bottom of the cabinets. Trim out the line for the countertop because it too is continuous. Offset 3/4 of an inch. There's the edge of the countertop. There's the other edge of the countertop. What do you mean the other edge? I'm going to copy this up a foot. Maybe not a foot. Let me see what mine is. Mine 4'6"? No. Wow, no, it's a foot. Okay. Take these two lines, bring them up to here, and zoom in. Countertop. Okay. There we go. So there's the return panel. That's my washer dryer. Extend, come across to here, trim that and that and that. Extend that down. There we go. There's the wall for my bar. These are the cabinets for my sinks. That's where my dishwasher goes. I don't think I have a dishwasher. Nope, I have a dryer, I have a microwave, I've got a coffee machine. But my small coffee machine is residential. My large one is much more of a commercial one, just so you know. Yeah, I don't have a dishwasher, but I do have sink double front. A typical double basin kitchen sink. I'm going to offset 18 inches because I actually want a set of double doors underneath. And then this will help me place my kitchen sink. Highlight, bring it up, there we go. Change the properties to hidden 2. And bring the line weight down. And again, you're not going to see this here. You won't be able to detect those changes in the line weight or anything until we actually see this in paper space. But trust me, it's there. There's a dishwasher going here. I'm going to put that on the shade layer. just like the refrigerator and the range, just so we can see what's going on. I'm going to draw a rectangle from here to here, and then I'm going to offset that rectangle 1/2 inch on the inside and delete the original. I just want to show, hey guys, there is something here that's going to go there. Okay, last thing that we've got to do is put the hinge indicators all across here. And this is going to be fun because I need a temporary line. Pattern. From there to there. And instead of drawing a lot of inferences, I'm just going to strike a temporary line. Thought that was off. There we go. Okay. So a polyline, intersection, to intersection, and across. I'm going to do a diamond. Close it, and then I'm going to mirror that across there, delete my temporary line, highlight those, change their line type. Now there's absolutely no need to show any kind of base going through there because no one actually puts a base in that part of the cabinet because it's behind everything, but there is going to be a base that extends across that little piece of wall. All right, now the last thing that we need to show, now you notice that technically, even though I'm standing here, and if I extend out, if I extend this all the way out to the end of the unit, I could, if I wanted to, actually show all those hidden lines, or show all the lines of the existing way off in the distance. I don't need to, because that's not the focus of this elevation. The focus of this elevation is right here. So I don't need to show something that's happening, 15, 20 feet away. I'm focused on the kitchen. That's what I'm showing in this elevation. So there we go. So there's that. Let's go back to the interior elevations tab. I'm going to make sure that G viewport is my viewport layer, is my current layer. And I'm going to type MV, make view, is what this stands for, MV. And now I just click a window. It's the easiest way to do it. And boom, there's my elevations. Double click in here. Zoom in a bit just to help me get things placed. From the list of scaled objects, or the scale list, I'm going to come down to 1/2 inch. And those two are placed, so I'm going to lock it. Double click outside. I'm going to extend this out so I can see all 3 of those elevations. Yes, I know it's hanging off the edge of the screen. That's perfectly okay for now. And pull that in. Okay. Now I'm going to copy my viewport. And I'm just modifying my viewports so it's going to show the information that I want to see. In terms of sheet layout, because I want things to sort of line up and be pretty on the page. There we go. All right. Obviously, I don't need to see those, so I'm going to come here. And these are all just the hypotheticals for that anyway. Oops. Click before I should have. Just to give myself a little breathing room, because we will come back on another date and we're going to need to show some elevation, some text on these, and we're going to be pointing to things, and we're going to show dimensions, and we're going to show some basic things in here that really, it helps a lot to do that. And when you have a little room outside what we're doing. So this ought to work pretty nicely. So back to interior elevations. There we go. Zoom extents. Save it. Interior elevations are done. Totally done. No, they're not totally done. I've got a couple of things to show. It's just like we did on our other elevations. I am not yet showing switches and electrical outlets and stuff like that. Fortunately, this is a pretty easy thing to fix. It will only take a moment. T&E, we need a duplex outlet. Actually, we need several of them. And 6 inches up. I got that rotated the wrong direction. There we go. And I want those on layer 1. So I've got one centered on that side. It only makes sense to take one and center it over here. Even though the plan says it's a special outlet, it's just a duplex outlet, but that duplex outlet is spaced on a dedicated circuit, so it doesn't really look any different. Oh, and I forgot to put the base along the wall here, so let's do that real quick. So the base is 4 inches tall, just so happens to be in line with the toe kick. It's not always the case. There we go. That's my current layer. I need to put my 220 outlet here. Outlet 220. And these things are actually pretty close to the floor. They're only about 6 inches off the floor. So there we go. Come back over here. I have a few outlets I need to place over here as well. And if I'm not mistaken, let me open up 102. If I'm not mistaken, I've got a switch or two to place on that back wall. Oh man, you see, this is what happens sometimes when you do some weird double clicks. Now I'm actually launching AutoCAD 2017. I didn't want to. It's going to give me the message, I'm sorry I can't open this file because it was opened in a later version. It's like, well, you know what? I did the wrong thing. So, and I don't know which one. Oh, never mind. I know which ones they are. In that one. In that one. Oh my goodness, no. I just crashed and closed the wrong thing. I hope I didn't lose it. I hope I didn't lose everything. That's going to be so bad. 202, 1029 versus 1032. Okay, 4 minutes. I can live with 4 minutes. This is also one of the damages, or one of the things that always turns into a pain when you're dealing with multiple versions of AutoCAD installed on the same machine. Da-da-da-da-da. The previous work section, yes, show me what I've got. Highlight a 202, 1029, the backup is 950, don't want that one. Yeah, I saved this right after, so I'm not missing much. I'm not missing much at all. Drag and drop, open him that way. Okay, yeah, the only thing that I'm missing is placing a few outlets on here, so this will only take a couple minutes to get caught up to where I was before. Back to pattern, because I want a thinner line weight here, and it looks like that doesn't line up the way that it needs to. Well, there's an oopsie. That tells me that my mirrored that it wasn't quite centered. Okay, here, across to here, make that my current layer, back to here, outlet 220. Okay, outlet, that's my 220. Back to standard duplex. Copy, copy, and track from there. Copy just so it's centered in that spot. Okay. Because I know I need them, I'm just going to copy over here. And I happen to have one probably over there and one down here. Oop. I know I'm going to have one in here. There go. That, I want to make sure it reads as behind all that stuff. Hidden 2 and change it to line weight pattern. There we go. I want to put a, that's more of a kitchen faucet look. And to help it read, trim that out. There we go. That's pretty. Okay, back to here. A102, right click, drag and drop. Instead of clicking XREF, I'm going to click open. And so I can see what's going on against a black background. Come here. Okay, yeah, I do have the switch. Okay, because I made modifications to the sync location, you can see I've got a couple of other things here that need to be modified. Primarily, I need to change that. I'm not quite so worried about how these are spaced. It was that the sink and the light were centered, but we have the sink, the light centered within the space, and so I don't think it's going to be a huge problem to have this this sink not be centered anymore. That's just me personally. I don't think it's going to be a problem. Somebody else might say that's a huge problem, and that's rotated the wrong direction. No, it's not. It was the right direction. Read it from the right-hand side. Okay. All right, that's happy. That's good. Okay, so I do have a switch to place there. And outlets along the top. Close. Okay. That's good. That's good. I need a switch. Teeny switch 1. And I just want it to line up here. There we go. There's a switch for my garbage disposal. There's the outlet for my garbage disposal. There's the outlet for my dishwasher. Once we get to labeling, we'll label that as a dishwasher, and we'll point to a switch. You know, we'll point to the switch, and we'll point to the outlet, and say all the stuff that's there. Now we are done with our exterior or with our interior elevations. Preview. There we go. Pretty. And I zoom in here. See, now you can see the difference in the line weight as they come through here, so we're actually showing that information. And that's kind of hard to see, but it's a thinner line weight than what's happening here, so you get that sense of depth. Okay, I am satisfied. Right click, plot, 202, and there's my PDF, all happy. And I will have this posted up for you guys to look at for just for reference material. So there we go. That is creating the elevations. So as a quick review, you know what? I'll do this in person. So sit tight, and I'll see you in the next video.